Okay, well, I think we'll get started. And if anybody joins, they can join us. How have you guys been doing with the practices? Have you been practicing?
I have been, go ahead, Deb.
No, you go.
I was just going to say that I have been doing meditation, not every day, but most days. And I did do at least one time of another Talbot. Talbot?
Yeah.
Is that how to say it?
Yes, yes. Good.
Okay. But
Good.
that, yeah, my week has been, unfortunately, a little crazy, so.
Yeah. And how has it been going?
The Talbot?
Yes.
Well, I brought something forward. It wasn't as easy for me to get into, I'm going to call it the center place, as it is when we are in the group, or maybe it was just something a little bit more distressing to me, but I did wake up with more of a, what usually happens is that when I'm struggling with something, I'll wake up at night and the answers will come. So or the change of view will come. So, and that did happen. So I guess successful.
Good. Okay, well, I'm going to mute you for a moment. Let's see, which one are you there? Okay. And Deb, how are you doing with the meditation, with the remembrance, the Tauba?
I'm doing well. What I noticed is if I hit something kind of difficult in my life, I don't want to go into meditation because I don't think I'm going to like the answers. And that's more, you and I kind of talked about that the other day. That's kind of a function of sort of just old, I think old patterning about, and old beliefs about how I'm not going to get the good things that I want, and just dealing with those beliefs.
Yeah.
And I think the underlying thing that I realize is that I'm afraid to go into meditation because I'm afraid I'm going to be told, yes, that's true.
Yeah.
You can't have it. And
yeah,
that's true.
So that would be a good one to practice with the Tauba. Just practice on the resistance itself. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to mute you so that I can begin talking this morning. So, one of the things I wanted to talk about was spiritual practice. So we have two practices so far. We'll keep building, but we have the remembrance, which I hope that you'll be doing daily. And we have the Tauba, which is about purifying and cleaning and dissolving and returning back to God. But why we're doing these practices is that we are developing yourself to be the container, to be a vessel for the divine. And the more you clean, the more you actually allow and consent and surrender into the transformation, the more you're going to be able to contain, hold, know, see, hear, feel God, Allah. And so this becomes a very important part of the transformation. The spiritual practice is really our part. That's what we can do to move closer to God, to be able to hear better, see better, feel more. And so it becomes very important to do these practices, both the remembrance and the purification. Because in the purification, we're making room for the divine qualities to come in and fill us and inform us and guide us, and to begin to purify out our human experience of these qualities and allow for the divine experience of these qualities. So, when we live in the world, it's very easy to lose contact, to lose focus, to not be with Allah. You know, even so, we're never separated from God. We're always connected. But the more you focus on God, the more you're interested in God, the more you clean yourself so that you're only viewing God, the more will be revealed to you. The more you'll really have the deeper understanding, and that you'll be able to live in the depth of the qualities like the love, the trust, the peace, the protection, the wisdom. So today we're going to work a little bit with your relationship with God and the divine qualities. So I'm going to unmute you again for a moment. And any questions or comments at this point?
Nope, not for me.
Okay. So, so what we're going to look at first this morning is really, what is your relationship with God? So, when we go to God and we're making dua, we're making prayer, we're making request, what is your relationship with God? For many people, we've been scarred by our religion, by our past, by different experiences. So this morning, I'd like to look at, whatever it is that comes up for you when you think of your relationship with God, whatever might be in the way, like God is not there for me, or I can't have that relationship, or I'm not sure what I believe, or I'm afraid of God. I don't want to know what God has to say. I don't want to listen. I just want to listen to myself. I want to do what I want to do. I don't want to know what God wants from me. Other issues of, I feel like, I need to be in control. I'm not sure what God brings is going to be good. And fear of trusting, fear of really letting go, fears, so there's all sorts of places of doubt, fear, worry, maybe anger. And so I'd like for you to pick one of these issues for you. And if you don't have one readily available, when we go in, I'm going to ask God to bring it to you, to show you, to take you to the place where you're having a veil, a barrier, some resistance, some fear, worry, anger in relationship to God. Okay, so I'm going to mute you. If you need something, you can unmute yourself by, I think, pressing *6 on your phone. *6 or *7. But I'm going to mute you up. Okay, so we're going to begin with the Fatiha as we usually do. A'udhu billahi minash shaitani rajim. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladina an'amta alayhim. Ghayril maghdubi alayhim. And just opening to receive the light of the Fatiha, the opening to God, asking God to take us the straight way. You alone do we worship, and you alone do we ask for help. Allah, 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 Allah. So we're just going to use the light of remembrance to start, asking Allah to please open for us, please show us any veil, any barrier, anything we're placing between us and receiving God. So we'll spend a few minutes here just deepening, opening into that, and we're going to use that as the focus of our Tauba today. So you can make your own personal prayer here. My beloved, precious God, please show me whatever I'm placing in the way between me and you, and listening, hearing, feeling, sensing your presence, your love, your mercy, your compassion, your wisdom, your truth. Please help me look at, be with, open, understand, wash, and return back to you. Any places where I've turned away, any places where I'm in fear, any places where I'm in doubt, or I have misunderstandings. Allah, 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 Allah. And just letting the light take you to the place. Allah, 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 Allah. And when you've landed in something, we can spend again another few minutes just opening it, just looking at it, being with it. Allah, 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 Allah. And when you're ready, we're going to begin the Tauba practice. Astaghfirullah al-Azim. Asking God for forgiveness. Please forgive me for looking away, for turning away, for being in fear, anger, doubt, worry, lack of trust, whatever it is for you. Please forgive me, wash clean all the places in my mind, my body, my heart, where I've knowingly and unknowingly carried this. Please wash it clean and help me return back to you, back to the highest light, back to the truth, back to my essential nature, back to the truth of my being. Astaghfirullah al-Azim, Astaghfirullah al-Azim, Astaghfirullah al-Azim, Astaghfirullah al-Azim, Astaghfirullah al-Azim, Astaghfirullahaladzim. 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 And just letting yourself be taken deeper and deeper. Whatever shows up during the tauba, just adding it in and cleaning, washing. Let Allah's light, the light of the One, wash through and dissolve whatever barriers. Astaghfirullahaladzim. 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 And taking a deep breath, going a little deeper, nothing to do, just following where Allah takes you. Just opening, allowing. Nothing you have to do here but being willing to show up where God is taking you. Astaghfirullahaladzim. 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 And if it seems true for you, this would be a place of bowing a little more deeply, surrendering a little more deeply, really allowing God to come in and lead you through this place of turning away, resistance, fear, doubt, anger, worry. Just letting God help you here. Astaghfirullahaladzim. 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 Astagfirullahaladzim. And just taking a breath, noticing where you're at, noticing what else is coming up. Sometimes there's a thread that goes deeper and deeper, connecting with other issues, experiences. So just allowing yourself to keep cleaning, purifying out whatever shows up. Astagfirullahaladzim, 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 astagfirullahaladzim. Astagfirullahaladzim, 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 astagfirullahaladzim. And we'll just spend a few minutes integrating, opening. Okay, so I'm gonna unmute you. Any sharings, comments, questions, experiences?
Oh, this is, well, you know me, Deb. So what came up for me first was I was shown the resistance I have in a form of not trusting God. So, which I'm aware of that sometimes I think I act as if, because it's what it's the goal I have to be able to trust.
Mm-hmm.
And some days it feels like I do more than other days. So that was shown to me. And then I don't know if it's random, and you would know, Cindy, but sometimes when you get these random thoughts, they do have something to do with what you are working on. So I went to the movie Tootsie. I don't know why. I wasn't, if it's random or if there was some purpose in that, my attention being taken there, and then to Terry Garr, and then to the fact that she has MS. And then I'm thinking, is this what you're telling me? I have MS. It's just not manifesting as yet. And then I asked, is this the truth for me? And I didn't really get an answer. And then, what was the last thing? I kind of circled back to the trust again. So I don't really know what that was all about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'd probably have to sit with that and look a little deeper and ask more questions.
Mm-hmm. I mean, can we be shown can we be told, can we be shown about a disease before we've been diagnosed, I suppose?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not.
Yes,
That's
but you
what
can also have the mind wandering and other
Yeah.
things happening as well.
I think
So,
that might be.
and
more
fears
what it-
and worries and different stray thoughts that come in. So we have to be really careful that, you know, that's one of the reasons we're cleaning, is so that we can come to know the difference between listening to our mind, listening to ourself, listening
Yeah.
to our heart, listening to the truth, listening to God. And so lots of things can enter in. It's kind of the nature of the mind. So we just have to
Right.
be careful and really clean and check. You can go back and check on that multiple times, you know, to understand.
Mhm.
Okay, thanks.
Well, mine was a continuation of the cleaning that I did last time, the other night that woke me up. And mostly it helped me, I was helped to see it a little differently. I wasn't able to go back into it and see where it's coming from in terms of my own history, but it was helpful for me to get a broader picture of I'm going to say how to deal with a problematic relationship that I was stuck with. So I've got a broader picture, I guess. And I didn't refer it back to the lack of trust in God. So I didn't quite get to that place yet, but I'm guessing that may be why it came up, because that was the word that I used to go to begin with, was lack of trust in God.
Yes, yes. And oftentimes, you know, that's why we come back over and over and over, trying to really glean everything we can out of those places. You know, we have body memories, we have heart memories, we have, you know, all sorts of things stored in our body. And that's why we need to keep the cleaning going. Okay, so I'm going to mute you again while I do some more talking. So what happens after the tauba? Okay, so the tauba is really addressing a pattern, a veil, a barrier. And so we're cleaning, opening it. And what are we opening it to? We're opening it so we can experience and feel and see and know the quality that should have been there, the quality that is there, but it's veiled by our experiences. So if we're looking at trust, we have our own human experience of the trust, which includes mistrust and times where it didn't work out to trust, and lack of trust and why we didn't trust. And as we clean that and we ask God to show us all the things that are stored in there, as it opens behind it or within it, or however you want to experience that, is the divine trust. So the name for the divine trust is Wakil. Wakil. So that's just one of the names of a quality that has the vibration, the experience of God's version of the trust. So one of the things we're going to do today is we're going to look a little more deeply at the qualities and how we use the qualities in the healing, in life, and why we use the qualities. So in general, the qualities are really, especially at this point, our way of knowing God. All these different flavors of the one being. So I'm going to read for you a little bit out of Fauzia's book, because she has done such an excellent job of pulling this all together. So she says the recitation of the divine names is a form of remembrance of God. By using the divine names, by repeating them, the mirror of the heart is polished from the rust of the mundane thoughts and activities, so that our essence, our divine light, may show itself free from any distortions and in its full brightness. So this little paragraph just opens really a big teaching about how when we polish off what we've been programmed by, what we've experienced, some of the misunderstandings, some of the illusions that we carry about life, about the world, about how things work, that then our essence, our divine light can show itself free from these distortions. So this is why we're using the qualities. And she goes on, reciting the divine names helps and supports us human beings on our path towards individual completeness through their meaning, through the form, the sound code that they contain, through the force of the letters, which are connected to various parts and organs of the body, and through their numerical value, which is derived from the combination of letters and indicates the most useful number of repetitions. And if any of you have worked with Fauzia's book, which is called The Divine Names, the 99 Healing Names of the One Love, you'll see she oftentimes will tell you how many times to recite them. So it's just interesting. Each divine name is filled with divine vibrations that are reflected in everything around us. They protect us. They permeate our body and our whole being. Every syllable of a divine name contains resonance that transforms the atmosphere. And you can feel this when we've done chanting and recitation of the divine names. The whole room changes. Not only your body changes, but the room and the atmosphere changes. The contemplation of the divine names bears a direct gift of peace and happiness, turning us away from the mundane and toward the divine. So these names are really a great tool for you, both in your own healing and in attuning to different frequencies of the one, different qualities of the one being. We should neither exert ourselves nor try to achieve any specific aim when we repeat the divine name. Rather, we should attempt to be sincere, to feel our heart, to feel our love for God, and to make our heart available for the opening. The power will follow whether we perceive it or not. So sometimes you're going to have big experiences with the qualities, and sometimes you're barely going to notice anything. But either way, through the resonance, through the merging, through the experience, they are transforming us and pulling us along on our path vibrationally, with the sound. They are portals for us to go inward and to open to the divine realities. And so the first one I'm going to read is about Allah. It's about the remembrance that we do, which is our foundational practice. So Allah, this she says in her book, that which is the eternal reality. Okay. So then there's a quote here which I really like. The first step is to say Allah and nothing else. The second step is intimacy. Intimacy, being brought nearer, being intimate with your divine self, with Allah, with the experience. And third, the combustion, which is about really burning off anything other than Allah, burning off all of our veils, our resistance, the things we've taken on from this world, the mistruths. So it says here, Allah is the presence of all the names. Allah is the name of the absolute being that embraces all the other divine names. Allah is the all-containing divine reality. The divine names flow out of the one divine being, at one with God and carrying God within the manifested world. The essential meaning of Allah is deep, passionate love. All other divine names being different aspects of this one love. The 99 divine names were given to us to help us break through to our true nature, to the source, the origin of all of existence. Generally speaking, each divine name works on two levels, taking us closer to the divine while aiding us in coming closer to our true self, our true nature. Okay, so as we work with the qualities today, in the light of the Tauba, okay, we're going to do something a little different with the qualities than we've done in the past. We're going to look at a quality, and in fact, today I think I choose Wakil, so that will be on the trust issue. We're going to use other ones as well, but we're going to start with Wakil. And we're going to first look at how we've come to know it in our human form, in our human experience. And then we're going to take the light of the Tauba into the quality, and we're going to ask Allah to clean all of the things that are on this quality for us that aren't really about the divine experience. We're going to say to Allah, please forgive me for how I've come to understand this trust, this Wakil, W-A-K-I-L, and help me open to your experience of Wakil. Help me open to receive all that you're bringing in the Wakil. Okay, so I'm going to lead this experience, and we're going to recite, we're going to chant the first 3 times, Ya Allah, Ya Wakil, and then we'll just chant Ya Wakil, Ya Wakil. Then we're going to take a little breath, and we're going to bring the Tauba into the Wakil, and then we're going to chant again and see what happens. Okay, cleaning off any human versions of the quality, any misperceptions, illusions, things we don't really understand. And we're going to open to more of the divine experience of the quality. Okay, so as we begin, we tune ourselves to Allah, to the oneness, as high as you possibly can, as wide, as subtle, looking for the place where the qualities originate from. Okay, Allah, 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 Allah. And then we'll recite together, Ya Allah, Ya Wakil. Ya Allah, Ya Wakil. Ya Allah, Ya Wakil. Yawakil, 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 Yawakil. So just opening, receiving, absorbing, merging as best as you can with the quality Wakil. And while you're doing that, I'm going to read to you a little bit about Wakil, and then we're going to do the Tauba into it. This name opens a space in the heart that never leaves, because this is the place of certainty and silence. Yawakil, you who take care of me, my protector. You are the one to whom I leave all concerns. You are the one to whom I entrust everything. You are the one in whom I trust absolutely. Okay, so anything that comes up around that now, we're going to do the Tauba. And anything God wants to show you in terms of what you're carrying, in terms of mistrust, or places where you won't allow the trust, or you trust some but not all the way, whatever it is for you. Okay, so we'll go into that place. My beloved Allah, my beloved God, please show me where I can open to your quality of Wakil even more deeply, even more completely. Please help me wash and clean and return any of the places of misunderstanding, mistrust, experiences, heartaches, fears. And then we'll start the Tauba. Astaghfirullahaladzim, 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 Astaghfirullahaladzim. And with deep sincerity here, because Allah is listening to your deep heart, to what your deep heart really wants. I want to feel the trust, the divine trust, to have the experience of really knowing, experiencing, being the deep trust. Please help me. Please clean all the places in me that resist or are afraid or put up barriers to really living and being and swimming in your divine trust. Astaghfirullahaladzim, Astaghfirullahaladzim, Astaghfirullahaladzim. 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 Please help me clean my heart. Please help my heart open to receive, open to carry the deep trust, the absolute trust. Astaghfirullahaladzim. 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 Good, good. So now we're going to just gently recite again, Ya Allah, Ya Wakil. Please send the divine trust. Ya Allah, Ya Wakil. Ya Allah, Ya Wakil. Ya Allah, Ya Wakil. Ya Wakil, Ya Wakil. Ya Wakil, Ya Wakil, Ya Wakil, Ya Wakil, Ya Wakil, Ya Wakil. Ya Wakil. Absorbing, merging, traveling, swimming in the quality. Letting your whole being feel what it feels like to be in God's hands, in God's trust. Okay, I'm going to unmute you for a minute if there's anything you want to share or ask. Did you notice a difference in the Wakil?
Yeah, I certainly did. It was very deep. And my mother joined. It was really interesting and just lovely. It was like my mom was adding energy, and I believe it's related. The trust goes back to some degree. There's probably other things as well. But to the loss of my father in a car accident when I was 9, and really questioning and losing trust, or, you know, that childlike understanding or feeling, and then struggling to find that most of my adult life. And, you know, my mother was a young widow, so she experienced that as well. I think, you know, I feel like she kind of mirrored that for me as well. And so, and then she was killed in a car accident some years later. And so it's like she came to me to help add energy and healing. It just felt that way. It was really cool.
Cool, great.
I had some tears about it.
Yes, yes. Oftentimes when you really get it, you are moved to tears.
I mean, did that happen where others join us who have gone beyond?
They can, part of their essence. Yeah. Yeah. And it's probably a healing not only for you, but for the whole lineage.
For the whole lineage, yes.
Yeah, when we heal things in ourselves, we heal it like back 7 generations and forward 7 generations. Yeah, it's really a gift. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Ruth, what about you? Are you still with us?
I'm still here.
Okay.
I don't have a lot. I wasn't able to go very deep because I'm in my office here, and there's some distractions.
Okay.
The only thing that came up for me was really that I traced back my lack of trust in terms of, as far as God is concerned, is more about guilt. And so that's a piece that I'm going to be looking at a little further.
Good. And you might listen to this at some point in the future, and then, you know, when you're home and you can have a experience. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right, well, I'm going to mute you again. Okay, so we're kind of doing this course in 2 parts. One is the spiritual walking, which has to do with developing a more intimate relationship with God, with doing the remembrance, with doing the tauba. And these are really tools to help you walk closer, but also tools to use in the self-healing. So I wanted to give you a little better map today, the Sufi map of kind of the inner world. So, and I'll be using some terms. They're not really important. It's just a way of referring to different experiences. So we have to start with the physical reality, okay? The Sufis call this the Mulk, M-U-L-K, and this is the place of your ego, your personality, parts of yourself, the nafs, N-A-F-S. And in Sufi world, when they say, you know, you're listening to your nafs, it means kind of like your desire body, as Eckhart Tolle says. you know, the NAFs are the parts of us that want things, that think things should be a certain way. All the things connected to the world. Okay. Then we move a little deeper. So that's the surface layer. Then we move a little deeper and we're in the heart. Now we're in what's currently happening. We call this world the Malakut. It's the unseen light. It's the deep heart. It's present time, and it has to do with the emotions, the experience, the feelings, things that have happened to us, all the things we carry. And that world is called the Malakut. And this is where, when we do the healing, we go in and we ask to see, to feel, to know what we're carrying in these places. Like if you're looking at the guilt, or if you're looking at mistrust, we ask to see, what are we carrying in there that's still pulling our attention off of God, away from God, into these other experiences, other learnings and teachings that we've had that are really not the truth. They're not the highest truth. Then we have the world of the soul, the Jabarut. And this world contains the 99 qualities, the essential nature of our being, the essential nature of God. This is the world of the soul. So we started with the nafs, which is close to this experience, then the heart, then the soul. And each time you're moving into a bigger ring of light, it's a more subtle world. It's a different experience. There's different information there. There's different lights there. And so it goes from the nafs, the heart, the soul, and the secret, the lahut, the world of Allah. And the Sufis have a map that it's like starting with you and moving to experiencing Allah, being with Allah. And they call this the stations, okay, the stations of the way. So the journey is walking towards God, walking towards Allah. Later, being with Allah and merging with Allah. But we're walking towards Allah. And there are 7 stations in each of these kind of divisions. 7 stations of the nafs, 7 stations of the heart, 7 stations of the soul, and 7 stations of the secret. And at the end of the secret, you merge into the unity, the oneness, the hakika, the world of the truth, the true reality behind what we are experiencing here. Each of these worlds is subtler and subtler. And so when you're really focused on the nafs, on your ego, on parts, if you're really focused there, you're in kind of a denser, heavier vibration. Okay? And the information you get there is listening to yourself, listening to parts of yourself, listening to your own desires, listening to your own mind, listening to your ideas. So in order to really hear God, experience God, know God, we have to change our point of, our vantage point, what we're looking at, what we're listening to, what we're feeling, what we're sensing. And so in terms of the healing work, to know that when you're looking at an issue, if you look from the point of view of yourself, you're just going to end up with that point of view. which is probably one you already know. There's no new information to be had there. And in fact, there are a lot of catches and illusions and misperceptions, misideas, notions about other people, blame, shame, all the rest of that. And so whatever you use to solve the problem is where you're going to end up. Okay? If you use the voice of yourself, you'll end up with yourself. You use the voice of your heart, you'll end up in your heart. You use the impressions, the feeling, the messages from the soul, from the divine qualities, you'll end up in the divine qualities. You'll end up in an experience of God. And if you use the secret, then you will know what the teaching is that's contained in the experience that you're walking through. And you will know this from a very deep, vast, true point of view. The world of reality, the world of the hakika, the truth, will begin to open up for you. So we are where we are, and it's good. And Allah will keep taking you closer if you ask, if you surrender, if you open to being led, to hearing, listening, knowing, experiencing God, which is why it is so important to continue to do the remembrance, to continue to do the tauba, to purify out all the places, all the mud that we have on the qualities, on life, on the reality, to continue to keep purifying. Okay, so I'm going to unmute you for a second because that was a lot of information. Any questions, comments?
So Cindy, it's not, I know the ultimate place that we want to be is in the presence of Allah, but is it, you know, the human pathway is to spend time first in, well, we begin in the nafs, we begin with our own perception, and then we move into the heart, and into the soul, and then into the presence, the pure presence of Allah. Do I have that right?
Yes, yes, very good.
And so can we go directly from nafs to the presence of God?
Good question. So we have, on the Sufi path, we call it, there are states and there are stations, okay?
Right.
A state is, yes, you can have an experience direct. You can be taken in one instant into an experience, okay? But if you haven't built the container for it, you're not going to hold that consistently through your whole being, your whole experience.
Okay, that's a good analogy.
Yes.
And,
So the difference between a state and a station is a state is more like you might be visiting, having an experience, right. And they're real. You know, they're previews. Sometimes you're just taken by grace into an experience of something so totally awesome. And what happens is that helps you have the desire to keep going, to keep walking closer. Those experiences are very important and meaningful. And sometimes when you sit with other people who are in different stations, you can kind of visit and have an experience. But in order to hold it all the way through, we have to clean out whatever's in there that's going to pull us off. So you might have that state, that experience, and then something might call you in life and you might drop out of that experience because you haven't yet developed the muscles, kind of like doing sit-ups, you haven't yet developed the spiritual muscles to really hold that experience in everything in life.
And when you say container, that's a good analogy. Is it an actual, I know it's not an actual container, but the visual I have is a container. And so that might be helpful when I am working with this to visualize that. So when you say it's, and I understand that they're being pulled off, and I have experienced that at states of extreme depth, and then back to my cerebral mind and the surroundings, and there's a dissonance with that, and I find that there is that more increasing dissonance for me.
Yes. So when you find those things that call you off, that's a perfect place to use Tauba. You say, I'm sorry, I'm looking away. I'm looking to the world. I'm looking to my mind. I'm looking to my story. Whatever it is, please forgive me. Help me wash that out. Help me clean that so I can only hear you. I can only see you. I can only feel you. I can know you more deeply. So the container really is sort of building up those experiences that strengthen. Yes, and we travel in the Sufi way, we travel through the heart. So we're looking through the eye of your heart, which is in the deep heart. So they say in terms of knowing kind of where someone's station is, that what you are witnessing inside is where you kind of live. So when you look into your heart, where is your heart looking? Is your heart looking at the soul? Is your heart looking at God? Is your heart looking in the world? Is your heart looking in past stories and experiences? So where your heart, the eye of your heart, which exists through all these different levels, where the eye of your heart is looking is where your station is. It's where you live. It's where you're holding. Now, again, you might have different states, experiences, higher, lower, depending. When we get triggered, oftentimes that's a hard time to hold your station, to hold where you are, like when you're triggered, to hold the place where you're really just talking to God about it and looking through God's eyes, God's heart, God's being at what's happening, rather than going into your personality, into your story, into your NAF's understanding of the situation. So these are the challenges of spiritual walking and healing. Is how do we get ourselves to a place where we can hold steady, only looking at Allah, only focused on Allah, really being with Allah. So that's the name of the game, is to keep your eye, keep your experience, keep your being with Allah as much as possible.
And so that tells me one of the areas that I will be working on for some time will be the area of trust, because it's that when I move away from the trust, then that shuts me down. And then, then you're in the mind, you're just in the NAF. And I don't know, is that a station, the NAF? Is that a station?
Yes, it is. It is. And we'll go into more depth about this. I just wanted to give you kind of a beginning understanding of the way of the traveling.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm gonna mute you up. And Ruth, anything you want to say?
No, not really. Mm-mm.
Okay, thanks. I'm going to mute you too. And I'm going to do our last practice of today. So this is a new practice. This is number 3, okay? We have remembrance, which is chanting Allah. We have tauba, astaghfirullah al-azim. And I hope this isn't too much, but we'll begin today with another chant, which is one of the ways to really be in contact with Allah. And it goes, La ilaha illallah. And I'll go through it again and again, but I want to explain it to you. So basically what this means, this is a zikr, a dhikr, it's a chant, a recitation that brings you just to Allah. So La ilaha illallah means there is nothing but God. Everything is God. Okay? And when we break it down, Le, L-A, Le, translates to no. So we're setting a boundary here. Anything that we have put in front of Allah, anything that blocks the light, anything that shouldn't be there, we are saying no to all falseness, all false ideas, false gods, whatever. And then we say La ilaha illallah. Illallah means only Allah, only Allah. So we are helping ourselves establish ourselves with God, with Allah, having the eye of our heart be present with only Allah. And more tauba for you, which is to purify anything which causes you to leave the witnessing of Allah. And we will talk more about that next time. But I wanted to give you at least a beginning experience of this very powerful recitation of La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. Okay? So it means no to everything except God, and that there is nothing but God. Everything is God. And we're really just putting on the illallah. There's a lot of emphasis on the illallah, which means only Allah, only Allah. Allah will just send it right down to you. And this is a very useful zikr, chant, recitation, that you can use when something else is calling your attention off of Allah and you want to return. So we have the 3 tools again, the remembrance, Allah, the tauba, astaghfirullah al-azim, and this is the 3rd tool, La ilaha illallah. So we don't have a lot of time left, but I wanted to begin this. So we're going to chant for a little while the La ilaha illallah together. You're on mute, but I will chant and you can receive it. You can chant along with me and just have the experience and see how it goes for you. Okay? La ilaha illallah. 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 And then just opening to receive the light of that. Noticing how that feels in your body, in your heart, in your mind. La ilaha illallah. So this is a really good one to use when something's pulling you off. It's a way to set a boundary, to say no, not interested, not going there, only Allah, only the one, only God. And so you can use it in a very strong way to set a boundary. I think we talked in either the first or the second session about there are 3 places we listen inside. We listen to the voice of ourself, our ego, our nafs. We listen to the voice of the darkness or the imposter voices, the world, other people, or we can listen to God. Sometimes, like when we're triggered, we're very open to listening to the voices of the dark. Which stoke up the fire. And yet we know somehow this is not right. This is not correct. We can feel it in our being when we get really angry or rageful or hateful or judgmental. We can feel how it's not right, yet sometimes we can't seem to redirect ourselves. So this La ilaha illallah is a way to totally redirect from fear, from pain, from darkness, from anger, that we say no to anything other than the one, other than Allah, other than God, other than source energy. We're saying, no, this is not the truth. I'm not going there. I'm not listening. I'm not letting you have your way with me, because I'm going to go to God. I'm going to go to Allah. I'm going to focus there and receive from there before I do anything. And I'm going to clean and purify anything that's in my way, anything that's going to obscure my view of the one. Okay, so we can use La ilaha illallah to set a boundary, to return, to strongly say, only Allah, that's all I'm interested in. I'm not interested in anything else. And as you do that, you will be in a better alignment, in a higher place, in a place to receive, in a place to really see and know what is the truth of what's happening. Not what our mind says, not what our personality says, not what other people say, but how in the divine being does God want us to be with these situations? Does God want us to see, to feel, to hear, to know, to understand better what is really being offered to us in these experiences here. What is the real teaching? What is the real meaning? Okay, I'm gonna unmute. If there's any last minute things people want to ask or say or share, you can feel free to do that.
That was powerful. Can you spell for us?
Yes, I will put some of these things up on my website so you can access them. I have a whole group of handouts, and my web person is busy right at the moment, but by next week it should be up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Can you, though, do you mind in the meantime just spelling it very quickly?
You can spell it how you like to phonetically. I'm not even really sure right now how. It's Le,
Oh.
L-A, Alehe.
Is it, oh, I'm sorry. N, is it N as in no, A?
L-A, Le.
La, okay, L-A, la, le.
Ilehe, I-L-A-H-A, Ilehe. Illallah, I-L-L, I-L-L, and then Allah, A-L-L-A-H.
Got it.
Okay. And I will try and get that up so that you'll have it. Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one to have. La ilaha illallah.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Anything else, Ruth?
No, there's nothing for me. That last one was hard for me to grasp, so I'll look on your website at a later time.
Yes. And you can listen to the recording again, and you'll hear my voice. La ilaha illallah. And it does take a while. Again, we're using the power of the sound, the vibration, the resonance. And so even though it's a challenge in the beginning, later you just kind of fall into it. And so these are the 3 tools that we'll be working with as we continue to go deeper into the self-healing. Okay, well, have a good week, everybody.
Yep, you
Okay,
too.
you too.
Bye, Cindy. Bye-bye, Ruth.
Bye. Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Mm-hmm.